Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi. We're on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates dotted across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Amenuveve FM in Apawu, ATL FM in Cape Coast, Radio Wa in Wa, Ganga FM in Jirapa. We're also on Dreams FM in Bolgatanga and Jubilee Radio in Keta. You can go digital. We're on Spotify, Facebook and myjoyonline.com app. This afternoon, two top universities in Ghana, KNUST and the University of Ghana, found to be running nearly 700 unaccredited programs at the diploma and undergraduate, postgraduate and PhD levels.
They test me if they feel the institution is being recalcitrant. Probably they have written to them, they've asked over and over and over. They may inform the public and the international community that for this particular university, their programs are not accredited.
We have details of the latest Auditor General's report, which is warning the certificates awarded such unaccredited programs could be classified as useless. Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo is urging the Tertiary Education Commission to ensure the highest standard of quality and integrity in the universities.
I would thus urge the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission in applying the new rule in order not to compromise the internationally acknowledged reputation of integrity and quality of Ghana's higher education system.
Also this afternoon, academic activities in all 46 colleges of education to grind to a halt in the next 24 hours as all teachers in the colleges take their annual leave for the next 28 days. There's more as the Teacher Trainees Association makes a passionate appeal for an urgent intervention from government.
It means we'll go to campus and there will be no teacher there to teach us. And then in October, we are starting our exams and we are ending on October 28th, which means that we'll just be on campus and the teachers will come back from the leave and push us into the examination hall. And that will not be okay for us.
Also in this package, minority in parliament turns heat on Health Minister Kweku Ajumanmenu for the state of work at the La General Hospital more than 2 years after the facility was torn down to make way for a new one.
We are telling the minister that we are religiously following his lies and that we are telling him that nothing is being done here, contrary to the impression he created to the people of this country.
We have details as a visit to the site shows no work currently being done, with residents livid about the situation.
And most of the people say La man fail me, so they want to disgrace us as La. I believe if this were to be in some of the regions, it's already been done.
When you are sick, before you can do something, you have to take car to Latenu. Latenu, when you go there, 8 o'clock p.m., they have closed.
We have sports.
Well, the current African Games schedule could force many of the continent's top athletes to opt out of the competition. We'll hear from a World Athletics Council member on why that's the case. And who is responsible for the galamsey problem in Ghana? Chiefs are saying politicians should be blamed.
Galamsey has gotten out of hand because of you politicians. Today, our cocoa farms, forests have been destroyed because of you politicians. Because the miners come with licenses from you.
I have details of that and musical prowess, academic success, and a message of hope.
That you are smarter than you can ever imagine. Do not underestimate the power of a determined woman.
A wonderful woman, an African woman, mother of nature.
And we get to share that beautiful story of musician Becca as she's adjudged the best graduating student at the UPSA. We have that and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Many thanks for choosing us. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. And it is emerging this afternoon that almost 700 programs run by two of Ghana's leading universities are without accreditation, casting doubt on the worthiness of such certificates. Out of 360 programs run by the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, for instance, only 61 are accredited, whilst the University of Ghana has 374 of its programs unaccredited. Now, this is contained in the Auditor General's 2021 report on state boards and organizations. We have a reaction from the University of Ghana and also hear from President Akufo-Addo on this. But first, let me bring in my colleague, Elton Brobe. He's been studying extensively this Auditor General's report and joins me in studio. Elton, let's start with the KNUST. How bad is the situation?
So, Emefa, is that bad? So you have 360 and only 61 have been accredited to run. Now, the Auditor General says that they noted 117 and 73 have been sent to the National Accreditation Board for accreditation and re-accreditation, respectively, but 109 are yet to be sent to the Accreditation Board for the necessary accreditation. And they attribute this anomaly to lack of the management of KNUST proactiveness to ensure that all programs are accredited before running them, coupled with untimely renewal of the certificates of the expired accredited programs.
I can't wait to hear about the University of Ghana, but let's talk about the recommendations for KNUST.
So the Auditor General says that the university management must cease running the programs that are not accredited or having it accredited certificates expired until they are accredited or renewed to avoid sanctions by the National Accreditation Board. Management should also ensure timely accreditation of any introduced program and prompt renewal of all expired accredited certificates in order to give credence to the program and the related certificates to avoid sanctions by the National Accreditation Board.
Let's move to the Premier University now. And what's the situation there?
So for the University of Ghana, 374 programs on their various web portals that had their accreditation expired or required re-accreditation during the period under review. Now, a breakdown is given here. So for diploma, the University of Ghana is running 14 programs that are yet to be accredited. For the undergraduate, 80 programs not accredited. Postgraduate, 213. And PhD, 67. Total, 374. Now, according to the Auditor General, this is in contravention of Section 6 of the Education Regulatory Bodies Act, which provide that a person who runs or advertises a tertiary education program that is not accredited commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to its fine of not less than 2,000 penalty units and not more than 20,000 penalty units, or a term of imprisonment of not less than 15 years and not more than 20 years, or both. That's according to the Auditor General. So the caution here is that the University of Ghana must take steps to have this program certified, or else the sanctions must follow.
Okay, so it appears the recommendations are similar to that of the KNUST. Elton, thank you. Keep studying that report and bring us more. So many of us may be running around with some of these certificates and wondering what the implications are. Let's hear from the president of the University of Teachers Association, UTAG, Professor Solomon Nunu Mensah.
Problems arise as a result of problems associated with existing programs. So there's an existing program, the person has, the program is already running. So you have now submitted your documentation for it to be re-accredited. However, JPEX, by virtue of the problems with their staffing, also may struggle in order for them to be able to get people to come to the place and review the programs as expected. So in a situation whereby they are unable to send the people, you also cannot say that the students who are in school should be sent home.
You are in the academia. What's the essence of a university getting accreditation for a program that has been running?
Okay, in simple terms, I'll say it's just trying to avoid unemployed graduate association. Because the programs, if they are not re-accredited, it means that there's a likelihood that an institution may be running a program that fails to, should I say, they wouldn't be able to stand the test of time. You'll be training students who are not fit for the job market, and that is where accreditation comes in.
So what will be the impact on me if I've pursued a program that has not been re-accredited or that has not been accredited?
In some cases, JTech may, if they feel the institution is being recalcitrant, probably they have written to them, they've asked over and over and over, they may inform the public and the international community that for this particular university, their programs are not accredited. And the accreditation also, I must state, it's not just about the programs, but it's also about the institution as well. And for the graduate who doesn't know that the program he's running is not accredited, that is where JTech comes in, and they need to police and make sure that the right things are being done within the tertiary education space.
That's the president of UTAG, Professor Solomon Nunu. Let's bring in the executive director for education think tank, Africa Education Watch, Mr. Kofi Asare. We're grateful for your time, Mr. Asare, here on the Midday News. So the simple question for many, we know that the Auditor General's report fell short of mentioning some of these causes, but how on earth did this happen?
Well, there's a history to this. Realize that before the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, which is a regulatory agency, was established, previously called National Accreditation Board, all the public tertiary institutions were in existence. So the fact that the public tertiary institutions predate the establishment of the regulatory body for the tertiary sector means that some of these programs, a sizable chunk, were already available in the system. I recall that under Mr. Safamafo, when he was Minister of Education, he had to give a fiat to the tertiary institutions that they had to, accede to the accreditation processes of the NAB then. But there's a lot of them still having gone through that successfully. That is one of the main reasons. The second is that GTEC is not cracking the whip. Okay, the law under Section 36 of the Education Regulatory Agencies law provides that if an institution runs an unaccredited program, you take them to court, about 20,000 penalty units or up to 20 years or so in prison. If the law is being applied in the private sector and there's enhanced compliance there because of the fear of being fined or being jailed, a similar example must be set in the public sector so that there shall be compliance. Other than that, those who will suffer from this are students who walk into universities, pursue a master's program unaccredited, unknown to them, only to apply for a PhD program in another institution, especially foreign one, just to be told that the program that you actually enrolled on and completed was unaccredited.
It appears that the situation now is there's a high chance that many of us are walking around with some of these certificates. We've been hearing about the implications and the recommendations from the Auditor General. What then happens to it? How do I even know? Because they do not even mention some of these courses in the Auditor General's report.
The GTEC publishes the list of accredited institutions. And again, there are two types of accreditations. There is the institutional accreditation and then the program accreditation. So if you go on the GTEC website, they have a list of institutions accredited to run tertiary programs in Ghana, and then also a list of programs accredited by GTEC to be run by these institutions. So once you are subscribing to such institutions, you must be mindful of whether or not the program has been duly accredited by GTEC. And you can do that by checking it from their website or calling their PR section.
We are grateful. Subsequently, we'll get to have more of these discussions. That's Kofi Asare. He's Executive Director for Education think tank, Africa Education Watch. It's been difficult getting a hold of the two universities, KNUST and the University of Ghana. As and when we do, we'll get to hear from them. But President Akufo-Addo is meanwhile urging the Tertiary Education Commission, the body mandated to accredit tertiary institutions to ensure the maintenance of the highest standard of integrity and quality in schools. He was speaking at a program to present charters to the Methodist, Presbyterian and Catholic universities.
I would thus urge the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission to be even more vigilant in applying the new rules in order not to compromise the internationally acknowledged reputation of integrity and quality of Ghana's higher education system. As part of the new transitional arrangements for the granting of a charter, all existing university colleges have been given up to 4 years to demonstrate their capability and readiness for a charter by meeting the prescribed conditions. However, if an affiliated institution is unable to meet the requirements for a charter within the specified 4-year period, but demonstrates sufficient cause for preparing for a charter, an additional 2 years may be given by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission to the institution to enable that institution meet the requirements for charter.
President Akufo-Addo there. Please allow me to keep you a while longer on the education front, because academic activities in all 46 colleges of education will grind to a halt in the next 24 hours. Now, this is because teachers in all the training facilities will embark on their mandatory annual leave. Although CTAG explains that the leave forms part of their conditions of service, students are unhappy about this. Let's bring in the president of the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana, Jonathan Juno. We're grateful for your time. How is it that all teachers are taking the annual leave in the next 24 hours?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Yes, it's true that we've received notice from CTAG saying that they are going on leave for 28 days. And it's shocking to see that all of them are going on leave. All of them are going on leave.
Mr. Juno, please, you would have to reposition yourself. I beg your pardon. We are unable to get a stable connection to you.
Is it clear now?
Much better, Mr. Juno. Thank you.
All right. So I was saying that it was shocking to read that all of them are going on leave at the same time. At the time that final year students are going to school to be taught and prepare for their exams. And the meaning of that is if they embark on the strike, on the leave, they come back from leave and then time for exams. And they will come and push the students to the examination hall and say they are coming to supervise. Knowing very well that you didn't teach the student. Now, we are not against the teachers going on leave or whatsoever. Our position is that the time they are calling for the leave is not right. And that brings the question, why are they pushing for this leave? Because they think that their conditions of service have not been met by government. Okay, so if we have thought for a whole academic year, there is no break, and government is not ready to listen to us, then let's go on leave. And that is going to affect the final year students in particular.
I assume you may be in talks with them. It appears that it's falling on deaf ears. What then happens? Are you putting in place any interim measures?
It's from here. That's from yesterday. We started making moves to meet all stakeholders that are concerned as far as the issue is concerned. Should it become compulsory, TikTok will embark on this leave or they proceed on the leave, we as students will not allow ourselves to go into the examination or at the time that we've not been taught, we've not been engaged by our teachers. We can't do that. In the beginning of the 2018-2019 academic year, same thing happened. We went to campus and then the teachers went on strike for weeks. They came back, we started examination, and at the end, over 400 people were sacked. Over 400 students were sacked for non-performance. This is the same thing that is coming to happen. This is happening at the time that we are prepared to write our final paper.
Well, Mr. Juno, we are grateful. We'll be finding some answers for you on the CTAG is unavailable to give us further explanation. All they say is the leave forms part of their conditions of service and that they have to embark on it. Let's bring in the ranking member on the Education Committee, Mr. Peter Nochukotoy. We're grateful for your time. A lot happening on the education front. Well, let's start with the activities of CTAG, for instance. All 46 colleges, teachers there say they are embarking on their mandatory leave as part of their conditions of service, amongst others. Has this been brought to your attention? I know you're on recess, but I'm sure this has been simmering for some time now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Emefa. Yeah, as far as we are aware, we know about the issues that the teacher unions in the College of Education have with government over their conditions of service. The matter is yet to be resolved. And I think it is one of the reasons why they want to embark on their 28-day annual leave. It has not come to the notice of the committee yet. We have also just heard it today. And we are looking at meeting chairman this afternoon and see what intervention we can make because the students are to return to campus and prepare for the exams next month. I think that will affect them. So, although we are on recess, Chairman and myself, we agreed to meet this afternoon and see what intervention we can do on behalf of the students. I
assume once you meet Chairman, this issue about 700 programs run by two of Ghana's leading universities being run without accreditation is coming up. Are you surprised about the situation? How did we watch for this to happen?
Yeah, we are surprised because it is the duty of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission to approve or give accreditation to the universities on the various courses that they do, and they have a fee to pay. So I don't know whether they defaulted in the payment of the fees or the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission failed to renew their accreditation. You know, it has a period over which you run the period and then you renew it. So we have also heard it from the auditor's report. And we have arranged a meeting with the Director General of GTEC so that we can listen to him why the delay in the accreditation has taken place. So within the week or before or early next week, we should be able to know the reasons for the non-accreditation of the courses that they are running in the tertiaries. We are told it's about 61 different programs.
Well, that's the ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament. We await that meeting and then we can get details as to why this happened. That's Peter Nochukutoy. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News. Let's turn our attention to the health front, and there's more pressure on Health Minister Kweku Agyemang over the lack of work at the site of the demolished La General Hospital. The health facility was torn down in March 2020 to pave way for the construction of what government said would be an upgrade and ultra-modern facility. More than 2 years on, the site is still literally bare with no major works ongoing. Ranking member on the Health Committee, Kwabena Mintah Kando, led journalists to the site and accused government of abandoning the project and lying to the residents in the hospital's catchment area.
In order for the minister to create the impression that we are lying and that a lot of things were ongoing at the site, we came here on the 11th of March this year. The minister himself came in a convoy style to this particular venue and said that, yes, they had, signed another agreement and that they were going to expedite action and that the project that was supposed to complete in 24 months, now they were going to complete it in 30 months. So it's about time the president himself and his minister are candid to the people of this area. They are not being treated fairly at all. If they had left the old structure, at least you could have been responding to their health needs. If we have to come here 100 times, we will come here. Getting the job done is our target. And we'll continue to come here until this contract or this project is fully executed.
That's the ranking member on the Health Committee of Parliament, Kwabena Mintah Kando. The parliamentary correspondent, Kweku Asante, was at the site and has joined us on the line with some details on this. Kweku is unable to join us, but he's been speaking to some residents about the situation.
We are very disappointed, honestly, and it is an opportunity for every indigenous in La should come here and have a look at this, because those who reside at this place are very disappointed because we were told this is going to be done in 2 years, and today we are almost over 2 years now because this place was closed down somewhere in March.
The situation is very, very bad because within this area, when you are sick, before you can do something, you have to take a car to Latenu. Latenu, when you go there, 8 o'clock p.m., they have closed. Look at this, my hand. I was hurt about 1 month in the evening time around 9:30. You get there, they have closed. You have to take a car to 37 before you can see a doctor. Even to pick a drop-in from here to 37, you have to pay 30 cedis. So your in and out is 60 cedis. But if it's here, it's just around the area. You can walk in and find a doctor to take care of you. My message to the government, we are pleading with him. This is not how we discuss. We said he promised that he's going to end the hospital by 2 years. But it's more than 2 years now.
A resident of La there interacting with my colleague Kweku Asante during that visit by the ranking member of the Health Committee in Parliament. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We are in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Radio Wa, ATL FM in Cape Coast and KT Radio in Koforidua. We're live on Spotify, Facebook and myjoyonline.com. We've been talking about the top 2 universities in Ghana, KNUST University of Ghana, found to be running nearly 700 unaccredited programs at the diploma, undergraduate, postgraduate and PhD levels. When we return, we have sport and ask who is to blame for the Galamsey problem in Ghana. Chief.
Galamsey has gotten out of hand because of you politicians. Today, our cocoa farms, forests have been destroyed because of you politicians. Because the miners come with licenses from you.
Chiefs are saying politicians should be blamed. We hear from them, and musical prowess, academic success, and a message of hope.
That you are smarter than you can ever imagine. Do not underestimate the power of a determined woman.
A wonderful woman, an African woman, mother of nature.
Thanks for sticking with us. Let's do sports. Musbao, what's the latest?
Well, Emefa, the Africa Games will be coming off next year in August. And what is interesting is that some top athletes will be missing out on the Games. Now, my colleague Fentio Tahiru has been speaking to a member of the World Athletics Council, Beatrice Ayoko, who's a Ugandan, and she has been explaining why this is likely to happen.
And then we discovered that the schedule kind of not clashes, but it's supposed to be August 4 to 19, and the 19th of August is the World Championships will begin. So we wanted to find out from your perspective as a World Athletics Council member, what this means for the African Games, because I remember moderating a session with National Olympic Committee presidents during the COVID era. You were one of the speakers, and I remember we were looking at how we can make the African Games bigger than it already is. And that was one of the issues. So are you using a laptop right now?
Yes, I'm using a laptop, yes.
Could you just dip the screen a little bit so that you're...
So the World Athletics Council member was explaining that the time that the Africa Games will come off will be pretty much the same time, a week or days after then the World Athletics Championships come off. And the top athletes will have to choose between coming to participate in the Africa Games or going to participate in the World Athletics Games. And obviously, the one they will prefer. So that's pretty much the issue. And the conversation now is to see whether there will be an extension of the date relative to the Africa Games.
Thank you very much, Musbao.
Nobody will pay. When they take us to court tomorrow, we take over the gate. No anybody will start the gate and take money.
Well, what you heard there, hot exchanges between managers of the Neoplan Transporter with the AMA sanitation team over whose responsibility it is to clean the transport yard. It's the time for Clean Ghana. And management is accusing the AMA for refusing to clean the place, although they pay toll to access it. My colleague Papani Ashale, Michael, is there for us. Tell us how it all went down, Papani.
They have to pay 3 cities and 1 Ghana city to get access into the place. In the understanding, the just meant that the AMA was going to be cleaning the place, taking the plastic waste one after the other. The AMA here says that, well, that is not supposed to be their role. What I'm saying is only to get access to the place. And again, they are supposed to manage their own waste. But it seems that at the moment that the public contractor will give
They pay how much? The big buses 350 pesos, then the mini buses 250 pesos, and the hawkers are paying the AMA. Yes. Any of the bus drivers who is here to show me a receipt? No, we can even go to the gate right now and see that so that one, the gate there, is the gate, the toll that you people take is entrance fee. That is not for AMA. But they still take hawkers, they take money from that is not, taking hawkers and taking gate fee does not come to the account of AMA.
Well, that's what transpired at the Neoplan Transport Station today in our Clean Ghana campaign. Now, blame politicians, not us. That's the assertion of some chiefs in the Ashanti region at an illegal mining Galamsey forum at Kumasi. Erastus Asaridonko has more.
A submission by the Deputy Lands Minister, Mreku Duka, on the role of chiefs in ending Galamsey did not go down well with the chiefs. All of us gathered here know those polluting our water bodies. We can't deny that. We know them. Every land in Ghana has a custodian. We know our land and water boundaries. If we decide now to ban mining on our water bodies, it will end. The chiefs blamed politicians for fueling the practice. Galamsey has gotten out of hand because of you politicians. Today, our cocoa farms, forests have been destroyed because of you politicians. Because the miners come with licenses from you and they are protected by military and police. Now all our sacred places in the forest have been destroyed. Those boys you assigned to follow the miners are the ones who take them to the forest. Meanwhile, Mr. Mrekuduka has hinted of new plans to police the country's water bodies against illegal mining.
We've commissioned out some boats that will be patrolling the river bodies 24/7.
Well, that's Irata Sasari Donko's report, and I'm sure you're well aware by now that musician Becca yesterday was adjudged the best graduating student at the University of Professional Studies. Let's hear some inspiration.
And now I have the pleasure of inviting your valedictorian, Miss Rebecca Champong, to present her valedictory address.
Well, we'll get to hear from Becca, and we wish her all the best. And in our drive safe tip for today, when making a right-hand turn at an intersection, look both directions at least twice before proceeding. Vehicles can appear almost out of nowhere very quickly, so exercise caution when pulling into a busy intersection. And that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. And our stories making the headlines so far there. This is a difficult question. Health Minister states an cross-examination in ambulance cases, and only 61 out of 360 programs offered by KNUST are credited. Also, Joy News requests information from Minerals Commission regarding issuance of lease to Electrochem Ghana for salt mining at Ada. That and more on myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu. Many thanks for your company.
Hey, transactions on Kwahu beeping. Not day.
Charlie, come on, issue. Right, be mumu pet way if you make a smile small.
Smile. Ah, guy,
bro, I say if